Hello, welcome to Introduction to Psychology with eCore. I am Dr. Carla Bluhm, and I am your professor for this short session, 8-week session version of Introduction to Psychology. I've taught for eCore since 2014. My regular job is the College of Coastal Georgia, on the coast of Georgia, so down by Brunswick. I live on St. Simon's Island, and I'm ready to lead you through this class. As your professor, I lead you, I prompt you, I remind you, I give you feedback on your work, and I put as much as I could on the course, in the course rather, to make it easy to follow, not complicated, not too many due dates, and I will give prompts throughout. The place to start is under content, and this is where you're going to find your syllabus. So you could go in here. I think my view is more or less the same view you have, but anyhow, this is what it looks like from my end. I'm able to edit, of course, from my end. So Mondays from 10 to noon will be my official kind of office hours, but trust me, if you email me, I'm almost on email all day, except for the weekends, which I am training myself not to work too much during, because they're the weekend. You can see a lot of information here in the syllabus, and the stuff that I personally wrote are things like late policies. The take-home message here is that I will take your late work. The door will close towards the end of the 8 weeks, not right at the end, but really 4 days, maybe 5 days before the end of class. I will close everything. I will grade everything. I will do rolling grading all along, but I will seal the course. I will then email everybody with missing work and tell you, hey, look, you have a few more days to finish the class and still learn the rest of this material. Are you interested? And you, of course, hopefully will be. We want everybody to be successful in the course. One thing I do want you to look at is under also, is content, by the way. We just looked at content. I'll pop back over here. And this is where the readings are. Oh, this is like more information from eCore. And you're going to do an introduction to introduce yourself. That's under discussions. I'll show you where that is in a minute. And you're going to take a mandatory attendance quiz. We have to see you actively engaging in the course in order to count you as present and officially taking the class. So you need to do something in the class. You'll do these two things: one, the introduction, and two, mandatory attendance quiz. And then I will be able to check you off in the records that we keep for you and let your home institutions know that you really are taking this class. Chapter by chapter, Intro to Psych. I'm a developmental psychologist, so I really love this chapter 6 stuff, but I also really love personality. I worked as a psychotherapist, so I like the disorders and therapy chapter. It's just all really good. I really like teaching psychology. I've been doing this for a long time, and hopefully I'm getting better and better. I think I do get better and better. What can I say? It makes sense, right? Okay, so your final essay is there, and there's a click there. Let's see if this links to your final essay. Yeah, all right. Your final research and reflection, more about your music and psychology paper. So what this means is that you're going to go into assignments. It will make better sense under assignments. And after you listen to this little video, go back in the class and mess around with it and see what you can see and what makes sense and what doesn't make sense. And you can email me and I will let you know. Generally, my eCore students, you're excellent students. What can I say? You just are. You can ask me millions of questions. I'll get back to you, by the way. But hopefully things are clear enough in here not to frustrate you. You'll see 2 due dates, January 29th and February 28th. The reason I do that is, let's see if I can move this box. Yeah, there we go. Also, March 2nd, which is the music and psychology essay. The reason I do 2 dates is because I want you to flow through the class in a systematic way that makes sense in terms of how you learn and what your life is like. It does not mean that I will not look at any of your work until the 29th. If you go into do this reflection number 1, and I will give you a little feedback and a grade on that, probably really within 24 hours if I'm really trying to get, my work done. I do go in the class every single day and try to do some grading. Because of the 8-week class, I will tell you right now that there's probably 3 of these reflections that are more personal in nature, and I make sure to read all of them so I listen to what you're saying and you see that I listened, and I will give you a little bit more in-depth feedback with that. But it's only because of time. But if it's something a little bit more lighthearted, you'll probably just get a smaller comment from me, if that makes sense. But that's universal for everybody, so don't take that personally if that happens to you. But what I would suggest to you is to go into, after you look at the assignments and see those dates, go into the quizzes. And you'll see that these dates are set. Chapters 1 through 5 will be paired with quizzes 1 through 5. You'll have, unless eCore changes it, I set it to 3 attempts with only taking the questions that were wrong. I think that will help you, but you want to drive those scores up as high as possible. It will keep your highest attempt, so don't worry if you get a 30 on one of them after you've gotten a 90 and you just want to go back, I don't know, and you mess up or something. It's okay. It will keep your highest score. But you see again, these due dates, the 29th. You want to be on try to do, what do you think? There's 8 weeks and there's 10 chapters. So some of these weeks you are going to double up. Maybe you triple up and you read 3 chapters that week and take 3 quizzes and do 3 reflections. If you have a lot of time at the beginning, you might get in there and get your work done instead of sitting back and waiting till, July 20th in order to start. Now, I won't let you wait until July 20th. There'll be a 0 in the grade book, which is not punitive in any way. It's just a reminder 0, if that makes sense. And when you do the work, the 0 will be, removed by the system as I put in the right grade. If you're not working in the class or checking in, I will do my best to find you. I will write you emails, I will text you, and I will use the eCore Center for Student Engagement where they will go in and they will actually call you if you're not showing up inside this class. By doing that, I can get 99.5% of all students through all the courses. So we will work together and I will help you and remind you and encourage you to get it done because you can. One quirk in the dating, well, you already know about the mandatory attendance. Oh, I got to go back up to assessments. Is something that if you don't do, you fail the class. So I'd rather not have to worry too much about you not doing this, but must complete the past course. So in other words, that's called the major assignment or major project. You'll be asked to record with your ID and then to give your thoughts live on, not live, but recording live on camera so we know it's you. It's like a proctored sort of exam replacement. But that's due on January 29th. If you want to do it in 3 days from now, that is fine with me. I will grade things as they come in. Everyone's different. Everyone has different motivation levels and time. Okay. The other part of the class are discussions. And I would take your time with the discussions, put them into a Word program so you can edit them a couple of times before you post. And you will see discussion 2, it's called, and it will ask you to just do exactly what it says. If it says that you should talk about naturalistic observation, not just I would explain why you chose that method, but I would also define it. Take a quote out of the these free chapter resources you have and put that into your paper according to OpenStack's Introduction to Psychology. Naturalistic observation means blah blah blah. And especially if you're doing experimental design, I'm finding that independent and dependent variables They don't work so well unless you define them. But once you define them, you realize, oh yeah, I better talk about what I'm trying to say in this way. So just some tips to drive your grade up as high as possible. We do use rubrics, and you can see the rubric, so you should feel okay about all of that. Okay, there's I think six discussions. They're not labeled like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but around six discussions or five. Yeah, and that's the class. I'm telling you, that's what we're going to be doing. You can, if you're feeling kind of poorly, unmotivated, a little bored with education, I suggest you go into the reflections and do as many reflections as you can until you start to feel like motivated again. Um, that's kind of how I work when I'm feeling a little bit like, I'll just say lazy or not motivated, but there's work to be done. I will always go to what is the most like interesting task first for me to do. And then once I start that, I just think, well, since I'm in here, you know, you might say, since I'm in here and did a couple of reflections, yeah, I think that I will maybe do a couple of quizzes just to kind of see if I can read the chapter and get those quizzes going. All right, sound good? All right, Dr. Bloom, here for you. It's going to be a good semester because I already know you're great students. So take care, email me, and enjoy the class and the material.